Hello and welcome to the next episode. This is our series we talk this Lego room and of course my life. Now, Merry Christmas to you all. Now, this is supposed to be a Christmas special. Today is actually Christmas Eve, but I don't know how long this is going to take to film because currently I've turned into Venom and I have a parasite living inside me, which is not exactly ideal over the Christmas period. But as you can see by the title, the pieces have arrived for the Ninjago gardens. Now, they've actually turned up in 3 different packages. Now, if you're wondering what is going on with all of this, well, let me fill you in. I had a Ninjago setup on a Ninjago table, which I fell through because I am absolutely stupid. And we've done some very, very long uploads to try and get all of these different bits and pieces built. So you can see you've got the city just there, you've got the gardens just there, and that is the bit I've never been able to finish because I was actually missing the inner bags for those pieces. Now, this upload for this, I think I filmed about 8 weeks ago, which was the last time I was in this room. But 2 days ago, this arrived, which, again, excuse me, confused me because I thought it was just the big pieces, they were all in here. But this actually has one missing piece in, which is a really, really cool print. So what I'm going to do with you in a second is open these up, make sure that these are the Ninjago pieces. Then I'm going to turn the camera off because it's just far too cold in here. I'm going to get as much as I can built off camera. Then we're going to see if we can actually put it together, and then we might place it in a new location. So there's lots and lots of different bits and pieces to do. We've done lots already with regards to moving bits and pieces with the Marvel stuff, and then we've got all the Batman bits and pieces down there, and then we've got the Harry Potter and things like that. But the room, well, is in absolute state because I have been away for a while. I've not been very well, and the last thing I did was actually build this up ready to put it in with the Rivendell bits and pieces, hoping to get everything tidy again after the video upload before this turned up. But it is what it is. So over the Christmas period, it's going to have a very, very big tidy. And yes, that thing is also underway as well. So there's going to be lots of changes happening over the next couple of uploads. The videos might not be massively long, so I just don't have the energy, so I do apologise. But such is life, it is what it is. So with that being said, let's get to it. So before I go off and build, let's do a very, very quick unpackaging, I suppose. So the one thing that I was missing for weeks and weeks was this one little printed tile that has now arrived. Amazing with all the size of the packaging that has come in. I didn't actually realise that was on back order, so that's why this one is actually open, because it did confuse me what this one is. Now, I'm assuming this is all the rest of the pieces. Now, there's hundreds of them in here because it was missing 2 inner bags and it was missing other bits and pieces as well. So there are the pieces. Now, I am hoping we have got... We've got a list for a start, which is fantastic. We've got the other part of the minifigure because I have never ever been able to finish the minifigure. So there's the head. So I'm hoping there's a set of legs in here. There's the gaming control. There's the hair piece. So it does look like there's a couple of different bits and pieces in here because this is some of the pieces that they sent down the first time, and it has the opposite bits in. So let's keep everything crossed that this Christmas special is going to go okay. If not, there's just going to be lots and lots and lots of tears. So there's quite a few pieces in here. So like I said, there's the head, there's some tiles and other little bits and pieces like that. Fingers crossed we can make up the actual minifigure. And then, yes, we can just go from there. Now, I'm assuming this thing just here, I think it might be a sticker sheet. Possibly. So it is. So they sent me down, I just needed a couple of stickers, and I said I'd pay for the actual sticker sheet. And they said they had a spare one in stock. So they have sent me every single sticker again fresh. So bearing in mind, there's a lot of stickers with the Ninjago, different bits and pieces. So we have got, well, there's 47, well that carries on 66. So there's actually 66 stickers with this. So what I'm going to do now, because it is far too cold up here for me to actually build the bits and pieces, which is a shame, I'm sorry, is I have got just here the remainder of the Ninjago docks, because I was stupid and dropped that middle bit off and it went straight down the loft ladders, and that was actually in a review. So if you actually want to watch my Ninjago docks review and see it fall off at the very end, then obviously feel free. If you want to catch up with all the different bits and pieces, there is a 3-hour monstrosity uploaded a few weeks ago for this, because this was completely pancaked and we have got it up to where we are now. And now finally these pieces have arrived. I just really hope that they are the innards that are missing, because this has been an ongoing saga for a while. So I have built up to this bit just here. So that is the bit that I built, and then the next piece that is needed has to be from, well, from the next bag, and then that should wrap around, and then I've got to rebuild this bit on top, add in all the beautiful purple and different bits and pieces like that, which is, as you can see, this bit at the top, and then fingers crossed we're living the dream. So I need to sit down before I pass out and black out. I need to get all these different bits and pieces into a smaller box, and fingers crossed I'll catch back up with you later on today. So this is what we've got to so far, and there are pieces that were missing that I've actually been able to add from this pile. Now the biggest thing that I am most happy with is this. Now this is actually the minifigure head that we saw, the hair, and that was the controller that I was worried about. We did see that, because I had the torso and legs. Now apparently each one of these was in its own separate bag. So fingers crossed every single piece that we see here is the missing pieces, and then I can just carry on building it with the bigger bits. But so far so good. All the small bits have been added in. We've been able to add in all those little bits and pieces on the side. So hopefully in the next sort of 45 minutes, we will have an answer if I have all the pieces. So today it's still Christmas Eve and we are plodding on very slowly, but we have had some success, which is great. So that bag was absolutely spot on. It had all the pieces in that it needed to have, and it then means I can then move on to the next bit, because if we look at this box, this bit here had already been built, this bit here had already been built, the fish has now been added in, but a lot of the trees and a lot of the other bits and pieces hadn't. So some of it now is still in the next bag, which is great. So I have that ready to go, which is bag number 22 is still sealed, and I've got bag number 21 somewhere as well, just to crack on. But the bits and pieces that are missing for the next layer is going to be in one of the other 4 boxes, and I am just far too tired to try and go through all of that, and it's going to be so what it is. It's so cold up here and I can't stay up here too long, but we're going to do this over a 2 or 3-parter, which is always exciting, because I want to get these placed, and if I'm moving around and walking around I can stay warm, which is absolutely fantastic. But we have 3 big units and I'm going to leave space for the other one. The plan is to put it underneath the Batman artwork. We're going to see if it works with regards to height and all those other little bits and pieces. Fingers crossed it will do. It means I'm going to have to move the Natural History Museum. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of moving in January/February with regards to modulars and other little bits and pieces like that. But the focus point at the moment is Ninjago. Now the other thing I have done is I have actually finished, which is this bit just here, the docks, which is great as well. So that is the last bit of the docks. That is what fell off in the review and went absolutely flying, and now we are good to go. There's 1 or 2 pieces missing, which I know where they'll be. Again, they'll be in those boxes, but if you know by how hard it was with the 3-hour monstrosity, it's a long process to try and find all those bits. So we have got that. This is the bit that is now fully built with the fish, so this can actually go on top of that for the first ever time, which is nice and exciting. Now the bit in the middle is this yellow bit here. Now this yellow bit I have started to put together as well, which is he says, this bit here, and I started to put all of these bits and pieces together, and it's missing a long length, which is going to be again in one of those boxes, and that is for the gardens. So we will just have to sort of do it over 2 or 3 parts rather than just one long, very 3-hour job that we normally do, and then basically just go from there. So you're just gonna have to bear with me with regards to the pace that I'm moving, because this is the most I've done in weeks, which is always nice and exciting. So I need to clear this table because the shadow box, I've just seen my pumpkin's falling asleep. But just jumped on top of one of the suitcases, just chilling out down there. So she's nice and happy. So the plan is eventually is all the Kallax cubes are going to get sorted next. So once the Ninjago bits and pieces are done, that is then the next thing to be sorted out, which is great. But I don't know if you're pointing at the roof. Let's bring you. Hopefully you can see where we're going. So that would be the next plan of attack. The modulars are going to come out. We've got some of the little bits and pieces, some boxes and things, they're going to come out, and then we're going to make a bit of a Batman display underneath, which is nice and exciting. And then we're just going to start to wrap it all round. I have no idea where you're pointing, rusty at this. Right, so table space, if I just plonk that down here, because this actually was an empty box, and now I've filled it with stuff. Now some of the stuff that's actually in the bag, for which I thought was for the docks, isn't. It's something else, which is always interesting. So the middle bit's done. I would imagine when I actually get to it there'll be another room missing. I think that again, that's in one of the boxes. Potentially it's this bit with the roof. We've been having this debate for absolutely ages, but we will just see what is what. Now, if you have been following the monstrosity of the 3-hour upload or any of the Ninjago rebuilds, where I'm putting all of this stuff currently is actually where the Winter Village display goes. And I took all of that down at the start of, well, before the start of December, made the display down there to have this as a big building area, and now at Christmas Eve. So it's not gone to plan, shall we say. So we have got a lot to play catch up with. There's got a lot of content to come, and a lot of me looking absolutely stupid, but I think the video lengths for the foreseeable future will be slightly shorter than normal. Now that is the that's the Ninjago City roof. That's just spare pieces from that. That can just go in here for now because that's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to keep all the city stuff obviously together. And then once all of these are built, the boat needs to be repaired because that has taken an absolute battering as well. But the amount of just bits that have been mixed up is just incredible. But hopefully we should be left with a lot of Lego Ninjago City pieces, because we're not too far off. It's just stuff. So you're going to stay there. The shadow box is got to move. Now this is what the shadow box looks like. It looks great. All the minifigures on top. We've got all the cars and everything in front. But I think with the amount of effort and everything that's been done, I generally think the Ninjago stuff will look a little bit better against that wall, and then it actually frees up this table. So we've then got ideas to what we want. I think the next video to follow this Ninjago series upload is that needs to be placed over here. So the park area needs to be sorted again, because this has all been pulled out for a review. The Winnie the Pooh got pulled out, as did the Snow White Cottage. So like I said at probably the start of this video, all of that should have been done and sorted well ages and ages and ages ago. So we've got all these different vehicles, which I'll put here and then I'll put behind the shadow box, because the shadow box will be the first thing that goes back in. So these cars are fantastic. But we will make a slightly different display that won't take up as much space, just with future plans that are going to be happening, especially with a lot of the older sets. I've got some older sets that I actually want to repair and rebuild, which will be quite interesting. So we will see. We'll see how that goes in the future. Like I said, for now, focus point is Ninjago. I want to get these plates. Now I have counted the base plates, and I think we have got enough. It's 5.5. The new one is 2. Then we've got Ninjago Doctor's base plate and a half. We've got a base plate and a base plate, and then we've got Zane's memorial, but that can go to the side, not adding any length on, and block everything off, because I should have a base plate and a bit of space to squeeze that in. Now my only concern is going to be the height of one of the units at the end where the Joker Manor is. So I can see some sort of complications and problems, but for now we will just pretend everything is going to be absolutely perfect, and we will just go from there. Now the Natural History Museum, I have got bits and pieces I still need to sort out on that. The roof is done, but I've got the fascia and some other little bits and pieces, which again, the bags are in one of these boxes. Everything got thrown into the box because it was just, well, it was chaotic, wasn't it? When everything went wrong, it went wrong in a true fashion. Right, I'm going to need those row plates for a while. That's going. I could have done this as a time lapse, but I don't think I'd have moved too much quicker in a time lapse, to be honest. So that's actually from the Joker Manor, so that's interesting. The popcorn thing can go somewhere else. That is stuff. Now this is going to get interesting, because last time I moved this, it broke, like it always does. And because I never have any time, I have now, I never have time to fix it. So worst case, the door now is just going to fall off over this loft hatch, which will be very interesting to see exactly what happens. So Mr. Freeze is coming off. I think the car can stay in there, can't it? Because that's actually the car from it. That is the 89/92 merger. Oh, it's tough because I know I've got to move this again. I don't like moving this because this side is so brittle. The other side's alright, but this side is awful on the hinges. Watch it let me down now. Ah, interesting. Right, talking nonsense. Maybe the car can't fit. I thought the car could have fitted. I thought the car could fit with it shut. Maybe. Oh, minifigures in the way. Catwoman got crushed. That'll be why it didn't close. Right, the door's already fallen off. Game on. Oh dear. So I can see the doors falling off by the hinges. Hasn't fallen over, that's alright then. Right, Natural History Museum now can move. Again, which is easier said than done. Just remember, the roof isn't on. I haven't clipped it down. Oh, I said to myself, I've got to remember that. That was sketchy. That could have been a few hours worth of work. See, standard was not connected. Okay, right. We're getting to the bit that I wanted to achieve, and then I think as once this video has been edited together, I'll end up falling asleep, which is very boring but very exciting at the same time. Now the big question is, am I going to go city, docks, gardens, other one, or am I going to have the two tall ones in the middle and then have the others off? I suppose that can be played with once it's all repaired, can't it, really? Because the city might fit underneath the Joker because it's not as tall, but the gardens is really tall. Is it on the box? So this is 29 inches, this thing is. 29 inches, which is there. What would be the tape measure? No. It'll be tight. It will be tight. This brake doesn't work on this, which is really, really annoying. I got 3 or 4 tape measures up here, and this is the one that should have been thrown away. Where's the good tape measure? I don't care. I just don't care. Right, well, the city definitely fit on that side, but we'll start with the city, I think. Let's start with this. And then what we can do is we can put all of the other little bits and pieces around it. This thing is fantastic. This isn't missing too much, to be honest. Oh, if we bring it forward, it's nowhere near. So that's okay, or we can push it all the way to the back. So we've got plenty of space there, which is great, which means the Zane shrine will fit no problem. The roof of the city isn't too bad. I think that might clip on, because the bit that's missing is the next tier for that. Yeah, so there. So that's number 1 in and done. Looks tiny, doesn't it, next to the Joker Manor on the coaster track? But that is that, and obviously we've got the extra height to go for that, so that will add in. Yeah, so that's going to look really smart. I'll bring it to the front. Really nice bright colours. Hopefully it's coming through on the camera. Okay, otherwise, well, that would suck. It's got to be the obvious one next, which would be the docks. Oh, I can fix out of there. Ooh. Yeah. Just knock the roof off of what I repaired, standard. So this thing is beautiful. We can sort out all the minifigures and everything, get the boats and everything back in there. So that's those two, which is, they look crate. It's the first time I've ever had them in a long line, so I'm kind of soaking this in as we go. Now that's the middle bit. That's the bit I've just knocked off. And then more on. Pumpkin doing something. I'm doing pumpkin. Oh dear. Can't be that hard, can it? This looks to me like it's the Joker's hairpiece. And for some reason you just put it in upside down and it's in the front and the back of this. You got one on the front, you got one on the back. That's the bit that's missing just down there. It's like a fire hydrant, which is a bit bizarre. I have to say, that was going nice and easy, and he's just dropped it. I am so reckless with this set. It's embarrassing. Can you imagine if that went straight down the loft ladders again for the second time? So I've either cried or just laughed. Right, now that's clipped in. There we go. And that's now clipped in. There we go. Learn to push it down and then you live in the dream. And that is also pushed down. So I know I've shown you this a million times before, but if you are new to the channel, then this is one for you. So what I really appreciate and adore about this is how the paths all link up. So depending on which way you have this facing will depend on which way you can have it going with regards to bits and pieces across the top, bits and pieces across the bottom. Now I have been a bit stupid. I think actually got this the wrong way around. So it should actually be, yes, it should be like this, because now the paths connect. So depending on which way you've got it, so the paths connect at the back now with the steps and everything, so you can see you've got one side into the other as it loops around, and then you've got all of the water. So depending on if I wanted this fascia or the other, depends on what display you get. So when that little bit gets added on, that added a little bit more height onto that bit. And now what I've got to do, I've got to leave 2 base plates. So 2 base plates gap. Because that is the size of the next one, and then it'll give us a rough idea of where the next one is. But how can I push this over? So I can push that over a little bit more, which I do off camera, I think. I bring this forward. Bring that forward. Bring that forward. Well, that's going to be a big reach. And now looking at that, I really hope that base plate fits inside that gap. Ah, perfect. It does. And if I bring it right over to the edge, that's our half, because it lips on the Kallax just ever so slightly. So I can pull it all the way over. I can just keep it as it is. But I think that's going to look really. It's going to look really clean. Hopefully, anyway. Right, so this will be the first time you clip in this bit on. So down here, this is the bit that I've never been able to build up onto. So I think that sits like that. Yes, looking at the box, that is correct. He says, definitely doing something wrong. What's going on? I'll be an idiot. Very good possibility. Let's try that. No, still the same. Let's try that. No. Try that. What is going on with this? Alright, there we go. I've just moved the piece. I've just staggered it. It's clipped on. We're good. We're safe. So the next bit for the height is this amazing thing. And that bit goes in like that. Now there's supposed to be a bit here, which is in one of the boxes, and then we've got the next bit on top. So with the aerial, it's going to add on a fair bit of size. So let's just get this, get you pulled back, let's get this placed. And then I can wrap this video up and I can cry. Now that is the bit for the city, a little bit higher than that. There's another bit at the bottom. So that is that, and you see how it will soon add in a little bit of height on the right hand side. But those colours, oh, that does look very, very good. Slightly scared about moving this though, because like I said, I've kind of just, we built it as the monstrosity, and then I've sort of just not done anything. Do you like the fish? What do you think of the fish? It's a games arcade underneath there as well, which is nice. I'm not going to be stupid. What I'm going to do is move those row plates, put it where the row plate is, and then slide it down. Because that had bad news written all over it. I could just see me dropping it, or me falling down the loft ladders, which Christmas Eve, not really the best Christmas gift to myself. Oh dear, that's actually got some weight to it, this one. Right, so the bookend is on that side. The height's away from the slope of the roof, which is fantastic. So it'll be tight, but we'll be good. You can still kind of see it. It's a little bit awkward there, but I think with them all together, it'll be okay. So that is there. That is there. And that for now is there, and that's all the free. The table's back, which is great. That Zane shrine, that still needs to be, oh, it's in there somewhere. So, well, this is the start of the Ninjago strip. I prefer the Tox the other way around, to be honest, so I might cheat and spin it around the other way, because the back of the docks is sort of the front of this, because we've got the really nice bridge. We'll see the really nice bit on here, and obviously we've got the comic store and everything on that side, so you're going to have to look, and then you can see obviously the working truck's not supposed to be there, but I think really I prefer it the other way. So I'm going to make that decision and turn it round, because I think it would look better the other way. As you get the front of the... Oh, yeah, it's just like we're looking at the back of the building, even though I don't know if it's supposed to be the back, I'm not too sure. So the paths won't match. They will and they won't. But I think that is better, to be honest. So we've got an option now. We can push it. Actually, that's a good point, because we could push that back and then in front of the docks have the Ninjago boat. And what I can do is I could just water tile the rest of it. Yeah, we'll try that. So we'll push that back to there. We've got space at the front maybe for the boat, which I know some people are going to not like that at all, but I can't turn. So if I was to turn the city around one more, you've then got the back of the city, which is obviously what we don't want. But I think we're doing all right. Rocky's about to come out. Rock, jumping up or jumping down? Rocky's currently on the wardrobe. He's just jumped down off the wardrobe. He's in that case. Those two there. I will bring you over in a second. So like I said, I understand there's still quite a lot of work to do. They're all easy grabbable off there. It's just like if I wasn't moving backwards and forwards, I would freeze, because it is extremely cold. So I will put extra layers on. I've got 4 layers on at the moment up top, and 3 or 4 underneath as well. But this is what this looks like. So obviously this is supposed to match up with a bit at the top and blah 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 blah, but I quite like how it steps. So we've got the height going down. We'll have a little bit of height on there. It'll be very interesting when I get the other set what that looks like. I'm really happy it's not covering the Batman artwork as well. What I will do is put some of the minifigures up at the top, which I think would look really smart. And then like I said, what we're going to be doing is redoing the Kallax. But I need to carry on with the Ninjago for a little while, because, well, look at the state of the floor. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes of parts, and we're not too far away for the city. It looks like we're only that bit now for the docks, which is great. Then we've got the top bit still to add on. The fact that that gets taller is just madness. And then we've got all the flowers and the bits and pieces basically in the middle, which is the bit that I showed you at the beginning, which is all of this stuff. So I don't know if this bit is the docks or not, because there's no ladder. So I don't know if that's part of the... This is what threw me last time, because there is a room missing above the comic. So I think it might be the bedroom to the comic, because it's the same colour. Which means I think we're looking for a white building, which I have seen at the bottom of there. So that's all going to happen in part number 2. Fingers crossed it will happen before the new year, but you are going to have to bear with me with the upload speeds. We have got lots to sort out. So future plans, there will be a video on this. That is off the old part of this. The Kallax, like I said, is going to get sorted, which means all the modulars are going to be coming out. So there's going to be a new display going in there, which means the modulars will be rehoused. I want all the modulars basically together in this display. So I really like the looks of, I was actually thinking of moving the red roller coaster, but stood here right now it looks too good. So we'll keep the coaster there. There's a plan for that. Loop coaster looks fantastic there. We've got the height either end, but then I want to carry on with some bits and pieces. Now the Natural History Museum goes perfect with the Drop Tower Haunted Mansion. So that is now going to get relocated a little bit further down, and then we can carry on making some sort of street. So there's basically, this is going to expand. The only thing that I'm going to be struggling with is the Dungeons and Dragons, but there is a potential idea for that now. So I have an idea which I will share with you in the future. And then when I can get to the floor space, we've got the Project Star Wars happening in 2025 as well, which is extremely exciting. But at some point that'll get put in, that'll get relocated, and we've got lots of other bits and pieces to come in, like, well, the chunk. So yeah, it's going to be good fun. So thank you for bearing with me if you've watched this all the way through to the end. Let us know what you think of this display, by the way. Do you like the colours against the red? I think that all the colours actually match the Gotham Skyline artwork, which I think is going to look beautiful. And then obviously underneath is where the shadow box is going to go. Modulars get pulled out, and then we can have a little bit of fun with it. The boat will work perfectly at the front. And then if I move this over, this lip, I can get Zane's shrine in down the side, or behind it, or in front. In fact, it can go in front of it. So there's space. There's space for all of that, because it's not the tallest of things. It's only 16 by 32 is what that is. So it's not the biggest, but it does look very, very good, and it plays a very, very important role in the TV show. But guys, that is it, and I am done. So if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Again, Merry Christmas to you all. I've got time now to get this uploaded on Christmas Eve of 2024, so if you get bored, you can watch this on Christmas Day. If you've watched this all the way to the end, let us know what bits and pieces you get for Christmas. I don't care if it's a poly bag or a massive set. At the end of the day, it's bricks. We take it apart and we can build whatever it is that we want to do. So if you've got any form of Lego or minifigures or anything like that underneath your Christmas tree on Christmas Day, let me know in that comment section. But guys, one more time, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and hope to catch you next one. Ta-da.